Hello, animal lovers. I am one of your people now. For years, I did not have a pet. And then my kid was like, I want a pet. They wanted a sugar glider and a snake and a gecko and a lemur and all these outrageous exotic animals. And then they ended the list with cat. And I thought, yes, yeah, a cat, get a cat. That'll be really easy. We'll get a cat. So we now have a cat. And so I am much more invested in conversations about pets and money. And that is the conversation that we're going to have now. Pet costs, really expensive. We're going to talk about how to navigate those. Our guest is Lisa MacIntyre-Smith. She is CEO of a company called Furble. Hello there, Lisa.
Hello, Bruce. Thank you for having me.
I was at the pet store today buying the food. Newt is very clear that there is one type of brand that will work for him and one type only. Anything else is a disaster. Let's start with some context here on just how much having pets in your home costs these days. I mean, it's inflation like almost no other category, it seems.
Yes, absolutely. I think we can say we're all experiencing how life overall has become more expensive. Housing, groceries. It seems that, everything is going up. And this includes veterinary care. Though several reports do suggest that the cost of veterinary care seems to be outpacing these other sectors. And many veterinarians I've spoken with believe that care costs are rising beyond what you would expect from standard inflation and cite reasons that include staffing shortages in veterinary clinics, medication shortages, as well. Modern veterinary care is more advanced. There are better diagnostics, there's more treatment options, which typically means higher costs. And this is all putting pressure on the cost of pet ownership. Um,
How do you think about the market forces for vet care? So when it comes to dental, there's like a fee guide that the insurance companies publish. So we sort of have a framework for what it's going to take to get a cavity filled. Obviously, if it's provincial health care, there is the provincial health care providers. So we don't pay to get a checkup if you're lucky enough to have a family doctor. Is there anything other than pure capitalism that drives the fees at a vet clinic?
Um, the fees at a vet clinic are going to be driven by a lot of different variables. Like I was saying, vet shortages, staffing, the buildings that are there. Um, and I think what you're seeing from several reports is that almost 50% of pet parents are foregoing visits to the vet clinics just because of due to rising
Wow.
costs.
Wow.
And that was one recent report. And we know what that ends up doing, um, for pet healthcare. It just, you end up prolonging um, a lot of these situations, and then things end up becoming more costly.
Mm. What role does Furble play in this whole thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So, Furble is a Canadian online platform, and it was designed to provide more affordable and accessible care for pets in Canada. And it was created for Canadians by Canadians. And our focus is to provide pet parents medications, both prescriptions and non-prescriptions, by connecting them with licensed pharmacy partners across Canada. So Furble's pharmacy partners will then deliver the medications directly to their door. So another option outside the traditional dispensing of medication in the veterinary clinic or animal hospital. So the option Furble is providing um, is a process that is not that unlike from when we need to see we need to see our human doctor and a prescription is required. The vet, we as the patient ultimately make the decision on where we want to have our prescription filled. And at Furble, we are working to parallel what happens in the human health space and opening up options for pet parents in Canada. So the
So
goal.
currently, I would get that prescription for my animal at a regular human pharmacy. My cat, thankfully, has never needed a prescription, but she'd go to a human pharmacy or to a separate pharmacy.
So typically what happens right now, or traditionally what has happened until recently, you as the pet parent would be getting your prescription. You go into your veterinarian determines that your pet needs a prescription. So you would get the prescription, but they would also fill it in the clinic.
I see.
So you're getting both the prescription and the product. And we find, I mean, myself included, oftentimes you leave that clinic not even knowing that a prescription was written. I mean, I've had it myself. I've experienced it, and we've had a lot of pet parents say, for flea and tick medication, well, I don't need a prescription. Well, no, you do. You've never seen one before because you're leaving without the prescription. You're leaving with the product.
I see. And so, how does Furble make its money? What's the model?
So the model is designed where there are, you're looking at the cost of the medication, and what we've done is, built that into the cost that the pet parent would see by coming to the Furble site. So making very transparent pricing available. So it makes its money off of the prescription, the cost of the medication itself, but at a much significantly reduced amount. So it will be a volume play.
Gotcha. So you would take margin on whatever that pill is that the equivalent pharmacy delivers.
Correct. Yes. So if the pet parent comes to Furble and they would look at what the costs would be to them based on the prescription they have, and they would decide their fulfillment options. And then that goes on to one of our licensed pharmacy providers who would then fulfill. So they would do the dispensing and send it to the pet parent.
Send it like an Amazon shipment?
A courier, yep, they would use a courier to send it to the pet parent, and the pet parent can follow the process and online to see where exactly their prescription is within that journey.
There is a lot of expense related to pets that is a need. Like there's just no choice. If they've been injured or they have cancer or whatever, you've got to, have these things done. There's a lot of things that are, discretionary. How do pet parents make those calls in terms of that, thinking about the cost of all those things, both needs and wants for their pets, and making trade-offs in other areas of their life?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And, I think some of the advice that I would offer as being a pet parent to two senior cats, and previously to several dogs, is do your research on what's available out there. There are pet insurance programs. Understand what's available and what works for you and your pet, but also speak with your veterinarian. Have conversations with them to understand what are the essential preventative things that you can do, and then build a budget around that. So the more that you can prepare and plan for those things, the better equipped you're going to be, and the more informed. So access the information, ask a lot of questions, access the resources, the professional resources to help you understand and make that informed decision, because there is a lot of information out there. It's just kind of weeding through what is appropriate for you and your pet.
Interesting stuff. Lisa, thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Lisa MacIntyre-Smith is the CEO of Furble. We're having a conversation about pet costs. They are not insignificant and can be a real challenge to navigate given the inflation in every single other area of your life.